Why does the cake get smaller and smaller? Smart people are always chasing the next trend. After some discussion, he decided to set his sights on the tax field and get ready for action. But focused on making money, Old Song forgot his childhood dream of being a lawyer. That night, at the boss lady's restaurant with his classmates, he proudly wore his lawyer badge. He starts boasting about his money making, and everyone chuckles as if it's a joke. But one journalist classmate nearby turns on the TV, and suddenly news of a military coup in Korea cuts through the laughter like a chord. Many protesters are being labelled as leftists just for voicing their complaints, which is pretty ridiculous. The journalist points out a lawyer's job is to uphold fairness and justice, not use it as bragging rights. Old Song sticks to his guns, saying, in this environment, the priority is self-preservation. He thinks protests are just fighting a rock with an egg, which isn't interesting. Hearing not so favourable things about those brave enough to stand for justice, Old Song shocks everyone, and the debate heats up like a spicy argument. The argument is so heated, the shop glass nearly cracks. The boss lady doesn't blame Old Song, instead treats him like Kurt Owen, helping with his wounds. It feels like Old Song's soul haven. Chatting with the boss, he asks about her son Sayoi joining protests, though he feels powerless to change society. Seeing Sayoi quiet, Old Song keeps saying that such actions are not just dangerous but futile. But Sayoi's reply, an egg is still an egg, leaves. Old Song thinks to himself, this kid really packs a punch, he just rebutted me. He starts leaving bell after bell at the restaurant, as if money were the magic key to every problem. Just throw in the cash, and you'll figure it out, kid. You really are clueless. How dare you go to such places? You little rascal, what were you thinking? Old Song was muttering, and guess what? The boss lady heard him. You go there to drink and study, handing over cash like it's nothing but a disaster. Before Old Song could explain, the boss lady invited him outside, and he started to sober up. That awkward dinner didn't seem to affect Old Song's business. As a newly minted tax lawyer, he's sailing smoothly. What made him even happier was that day he landed a big client, as one of Korea's top 10 construction companies reached out to him. His assistant tells him, if you handle this case well, fame and fortune will roll in. Old Song can't wait to share the good news with the boss lady and throw in an apology too. However, when Old Song arrives at the restaurant, he hears from the neighbors that it has been closed for over a month. Upon learning the reason, his worries grow. He heads to work only to find the boss lady all curled up in the hallway. After chatting with her, he discovers Saoyu has been missing for over a month and that the boss lady has received a court summons. The reason? Saoyu has been labelled a leftist. She wants to visit him in detention, but they tell her she can't. But then, the assistant walks in, reminding Old Song of today's big client meeting. The boss lady clutches Old Song tightly, knowing full well that he is indeed her sole hope at this very moment. He feels a bit overwhelmed, but knows today's meeting is crucial, so he decides to leave the office. With his mind all scrambled, Old Song finds it hard to focus on the meeting, and it ends in a rush. Although Old Song loves chatting a lot, if the law he's skilled in is only for profit and he can't even protect his loved ones, that's just tragic. In the afternoon, Old Song starts inquiring everywhere and finally finds the boss lady's address. But when he gets there, she's not home, so he waits at the door until sunset and ends up dozing off. Late at night, when the boss lady returns, she sees Old Song, and hope lights up her eyes again. The next day, he deliberately brings the boss lady to the detention center and clearly informs the staff that disallowing family visits is an illegal act. Look, he truly is a legitimate and worthy champion of justice in the legal realm. Finally, when they see Sayoyu, he looks a mess with injuries all over, and Old Song is seething with anger. Seeing her son like this, the mother's rage escalates. She feels like fighting everyone there, thinking this is pure abuse. This is clearly against the law, and to think it happened right in a so-called rule of law country is plot twist central. Sayoyu is swiftly removed by staff. His mother faints in anger. Old Song vows to uncover the truth and dashes out. He hurries over to his senior's office, only to find they've already been discussing the matter. Turns out, this isn't your ordinary case. This is a case led by the National Security Department, and bam, Sayoyu and others were arrested just for reading a few forbidden books. Old Song studies all night and realizes these books only introduce various social systems, using them for conviction. Hilarious. National security cases are always represented by a lawyer team, so after a sleepless night, Old Song finds his elder and volunteers to be the defense attorney. But the elder advises him to think twice, because these cases are unpaid, and winning or losing will upset someone. Old Sung looks like he hasn't tasted good food in ages. Eventually, the trial day arrives and Old Sung bumps into his journalist classmate outside the court to miracle. Classmate notices the injustice in the case and turns to Old Sung, only to be called toward him, thinking he's just looking for publicity. Despite the piercing gazes, Old Sung's determination to uphold justice remains unwavering. But he soon realizes things are a lot more complicated. Lawyers, prosecutors, and judges are all in cahoots. It's a plot twist extravaganza. Witnessing the students being tied up and shackled, Old Sung gets fired up and gives the judge a wake-up. Article 280 of Criminal Procedure Law states, public trial must be fair, freedom of movement is key. Now we're demanding the release from wrongful charges. And by the way, under Criminal Procedure Article 275, judges shouldn't be arrested during court. Old Sung's professional and reasonable remarks leave the judge momentarily speechless and earn the students some respect. The prosecutor is clearly prepared, accusing students of an illegal reading club, reading their confessions in court.